Hi, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. I'm sorry that it's taken me so long to get back to you. The last time we met, I did a walkthrough of my collaboration that I did with Junk Journal Ideas and Inspiration. And before that was the Christmas collaboration with Terry Esley and Lisa Fisher. And I want to continue that collaboration through the month of July. So I was trying to think of something to do that I could do 3 days a week, at least video 3 days a week, and create something that you will have at the end, something completed. Also, something that you could do, whether you were doing a Christmas journal or some other kind of journal you'd like to do for yourself. The ephemera that we make for this journal, you could also make for any journal, not just for a Christmas journal. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go back to my roots. The very first journal I made was this one, because I was with almost 4 years ago. No, yeah, 4 years ago, over 4 years ago, I was thumbing through the through YouTube, trying to find some inspiration for my craft back then, which was scrapbooking, and that was for 23 years with Creative Memories. And I came upon Crafty Irina, and she was, at that time, she had made a altered book, Peter Rabbit altered book, and it was just, I couldn't stop watching it. I must have watched that video, her walkthrough of that journal 5 times, and then watched how she was able to, take the pages out and put the pages in and all of that. And I was just, I was in a trance. And so I put my scrapbooking aside for a little bit. Excuse me, I'm just going to get some water. I put my scrapbooking aside for a little bit, and I decided I'm going to make a Peter Rabbit journal for 2 reasons. 1, I wanted to try it, and 2, it just so happens that Peter Rabbit was my favorite, absolute favorite childhood story. All of her stories, Beatrix Potter stories, were my favorite. I am an avid, I should have been born and raised in England. As a matter of fact, I really think that I was born and switched at birth or something and brought to the United States, because my life revolves, my gardens, I love cottages, I love the countryside, and I live on the coast. It's crazy. But, so anyway, this is what I came up with. This is my Peter Rabbit, my very first journal I made 4 years ago. It's over 4 years ago, because it was 4 years in March that I made this journal, and I covered it with fabric. And I didn't use any digitals because I didn't know about digitals back then. But I did use cards. I had some index cards. My husband at that time had his office out of the house, so I was able to use his old, index cards. And what I've done is I've created a book for my grandchildren. And so, like, laughed out loud, like which one laughed out loud first, and turned over and sat up alone, because I hadn't used it. So that's what I'm going to use it for. I've just pulled it out. And then I just took some things that I found on the internet, or I found, some things that I had amongst my stash of being with Creative Memories. And I was able to create my little Peter Rabbit journal. And it was a lot of fun, and I really, really, truly enjoyed it. I don't know where that, I know there's a big tag that goes in there, but my husband's been thumbing through it because it's his favorite, so it may be tucked in another place, but this is the 3-pocket page that I made out of that. And like I said, some of the pages I used a book because I have several and several duplicates, so I was able to use a book. And so this was my card, my book, and I used, little radishes for the garden. I found a picture in a magazine, and then I found some seed packets at the dollar store, and, that's how I made it because, it just goes to show you you don't need digitals to make, a junk journal. You can make it with anything. Drank from a cup. I just put these things on probably 6 months ago. And I have all that stuff written down, but it's not in a book. And so I decided that I would put it in my Peter Rabbit book. So this is 4 years old, and as you can tell, this is washi tape. It's held up absolutely beautifully. Now, I did not know about the trick in gluing your washi tape at that time, but as you can see, it hasn't done anything. It hasn't moved. I did learn about tea staining paper, so I did that. And yeah, so this is from an altered book. Little booklet here. That got bent and it got put back in. So we'll put it in this way so it will bend back up. And then in this was just a little pad of paper I had. So I stapled it. And then I put some washi tape over it that I had. Put 2 little bunnies stamps. Got a tooth, waved bye-bye, played a joke. Anyway, you don't need to see the whole book, which, I won't go through. But anyway, that was my first journal. Is my first journal. So then I decided I wanted to make another one. So last summer, I put together this one. I took the enclosures off because I just, I didn't want to fuss with them while I was on camera. It would take too long. Here's the tassel that I made. And this is with, I used straws. And I'm going to start making these again. You put your journals up. Mine are up on a bookshelf in my craft room, so I forget about these things. But I was like, oh my gosh, those were so fun. I need to start making those again. But this one, because I am such an avid, gardener and things like that, I decided I was going to make another altered book. This time was a real labor of love because what I decided to do was, as you can see, every single page is matted with black. Is matted with black paper. Not only that, not only did I mat each page with black paper, but every single piece of paper that you see, I stitched before I before I put it on the mat. And some of it is, from digitals, some is from book page, some is from magazines, things like that. A little button with some fabric. It's just a journaling card and, a pocket. I'm really glad that I got these down because a lot of the things I had forgotten, just some cheesecloth, and she smelled of sun and daisies with a hint of river water flowing through her soul. And, I forgot that I had written these things, and I put some daisy fabric there, and this is another magazine, matted that on black. She stained the beautiful colors of summer. Another book page collage that I made. But I stitched all my pages and matted them on black. I love the smell of cut grass and the possibilities the warm sunshine creates. And then I put a little cluster there with fabric and a button. But yeah, so this was my journal that I decided I was going to make last summer, which I did and I completed, but I haven't done anything with it. I just put it up. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might take it on vacation with me because there's a little pocket there, little, flip up, and I put a little fabric snippet. I would make long fabric snippets, and then I would just cut them up and use them in my journals when I made them. Listen to the birds singing their beautiful songs. If I had a flower for every time I thought of you, I could walk in my garden forever. And on it goes. And these are just little, oh, this was my first time ever trying eco dyeing. So those are slid in there. Some of it came out great, some of it didn't. So I photocopied, not photocopied, I scanned what came out really good. Let me just put this back in here. I scanned what came out really good, and the rest I ended up throwing away because when I cleaned up my craft room, because it turned all gray. I don't know why. I'll put that back a little later. But anyway, those slide in there. And then there's another little tag. I put a little girl, some flowers I collaged. But anyway, that was a real labor of love. There's envelopes and fabric and, you know, more things I had learned. I think I learned this from Artie Mays. I know I learned this from Artie Mays. It's decoupaged and inked, tea stained. And it's got some cards, and I lined it with old book page. That just slides over the page like that. Lots of envelopes, lots of flips, lots of, you know, note pages, what have you. And I also covered that book with fabric as well. And so yeah, both of those were really fun. I started another one. This one, however, I haven't done anything with. I am so sorry about that. This one I haven't done anything with. I have done the cover, and I've done the tassel on the side. I've torn out all the pages, and I've put in I've put in the two end pages, but I haven't done anything else with it yet. And I'll get into the paper clips in a second. So what I thought was, why not do a Christmas journal like those? And I really do hope that you join me on this journey. I will show you how to tear out the pages. I will show you how to make your pockets. I know a lot of people, when they do a journal like this, they do a lot of, you know, top-loading pockets, side-loading pockets, and things like that. I chose not to because I wanted my book to always be able to lay flat. And, you know, when I journaled in it, I wanted it also to lay flat. Sorry, that's a little belly band. But, and as you can see, it really does. And, you know, there's plenty of room for journaling. Like I said, I just haven't yet because I didn't know what to do with it after I made it. And I did make a Benjamin Bunny for my grandson. This is a diaper pin. I did make a Benjamin Bunny for my grandson because his name is Benjamin. And she's keeping all of his records in it. So I decided that's what I was going to do with this because I had nothing to do with, you know, nobody to give it to. So, in order to make one of these, and there are a gazillion on the internet, but trust me, this is not a new idea. This goes back to one of the crafting shows on TV back in the 80s, early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, where we would make glue books. And I remember making them not out of these, but like with magazines and stuff, taking the magazines, cutting them up, and, you know, gluing in, you know, the Beatles or, you know, whoever. So anyway, so Crafty Irina was the first one I watched, and saw my altered book and decided that I was going to make it. And then I followed Gail Agnestelli, who also created several series. If you go on her channel, you could watch her series on making one as well. I'm pretty sure she did a Christmas one, but I did follow one of her series from start to finish. I didn't make one, but I did follow the series. Now you can do that. You can make your book so that when you tear out your pages, so what you're going to do to tear out, see, I've already, well, for this one, I tore out my pages that I needed to tear out, and then I put in all these paper clips. And as you can see, where these paper clips are to remind me that when I glue this together, well, I already have, but that's my side pocket. Because I'm going, you know, for this one, I think I might try that. I just don't want it to get real bulky, so I might not do, you know, as many side or top loading pockets. But that's what you want to do when you do, if you decide that that's what you want to do. You want to, you know, use paper clips to remind you, okay, this is going to be a side pocket, that's going to be a top pocket. Okay? So, how do you start? Well, you get a book from the Dollar Tree. They're $1. Well, now they're $1.25. Or your local, you know, thrift store, or anywhere. And you want to take your first page like this, and you want to flip it. And then your second page, you want to keep that. And your third page, you want to keep that. And evidently, I wanted, for some reason, to keep my fourth page. I think it's because it looked good. And then, as you can see, okay, so what I was going to do was, I was going to make a pocket with these. So that's why there's two there. And then I was going to make a pocket with this one that went like this. So I kept that one. And then I just wanted that page to be this way. Okay. Then you would flip one, flip two, and then you would start tearing. Okay. Once you started tearing, you remove these 8 pages. So that's what I did. Let's just ignore these, because that's not, I'm not going to make mine this way. This is the way I was going to make this one a long time ago, and I never did get to it. So I'm just going to take all the paper clips out, and I'm going to do it like I'm going to do this one. Because like I said, I've already torn out all my pages, and I've chosen all my paper that I'm going to be using. Now, this book was 237 pages. I tore out all the pages except for 32, which gives me 69 pages in total, front and back. So that's going to make a pretty good sized book. I mean, right now it's like this, which that's what this one looked like when I tore all the pages out. And there's no, you know, there's no waving, there's no buckling, there's no nothing. And I'll show you about that. There was in my first one. I had to throw it away. So what you do is you take your first page and you flip it, your second page, and your third page. Okay? Then you're going to tear out, let's see, how many pages are in this book? Evidently, I didn't know whether to go frontwards or backwards. I was probably trying to make up my mind. Okay. Oops. Where are we? 19 minutes, great. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we're going to take out 6. So we're going to tear 1. And I really take my time tearing. I know a lot of people don't. They say it doesn't matter. But to me, it does. So I open up my spine as best as I can. because I don't want, you don't want to ruin the integrity of the spine. And you have to use a spine. I forgot to talk about that. You cannot use a spine that has sewn in signatures. And what I mean by that is you have a lot of books. This is an old one, obviously. But if you can tell, and yes, I've been using it. If you can see, you've got this here on your spine, which is not very good integrity of a book. When you're going to be tearing things out of it, it's going to fall apart eventually. Also, if you take the book and you kind of just do this, it will open up. And as you can see right here, there's threads. And what I do when I want to take some pages out of this book, I take my little tiny scissors so that I don't tear the pages, because I don't have a lot of French books. I take my scissors and I cut those strings. Did I get it? So I cut that one. I cut that one. Wow. Some of these strings are tough. There we go. I've lifted up that string. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that signature right out. And that way it gives me the pages like this. So if I wanted to put this in a journal, I could. I would obviously, because it's so fragile, I would definitely put like masking tape or something here before I did actually put it in my journal. Now, if you use this for one of these kinds of books and you did take out your signatures like that, you're going to lose the integrity of your spine and it's going to fall apart. So all that work that you've done, on your book, after you've got it all done, it's just going to fall apart. It's not going to be, any good. So that's the difference. You want to find a book, a newer book that has all these pages are glued in. This is all glue, and you can see the glue. I don't know if you can see it in the camera with my hand in the way, but these are all separately glued in pages, and that's how they made this book. So that's the kind of book you want to look for when you're going to look for a book. And so we tore out how many pages? I think 1. And then what I do is, see, if I had torn this out the right way, I wouldn't have had any paper there. So what I do is I take my book and I take my time. I don't tear out more than 1 page at a time. And you can do this while you watch TV or what have you. But I'm going to tear out 6 pages. So I tore out 1. And you want to keep these pages for like ephemera or for, gluing. There's 2. I'm just trying to get it out without leaving too much paper in there. There's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, you want to flip 1, okay? You're going to flip this page because this page is going to glue to this page, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So you want to flip this page, that's 1, and you want to flip a second page, that's 2. then you want to count 6 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put a paper clip. 1, 2, 1, 2, whoops, 3, 4, 5, 6, and put another paper clip. Now, once you've done all of that, you can check your book. After you've torn out all your pages, you can check your book. If it still needs more pages torn out, if you think you want more than 64 pages or 65 pages front and back in your journal, then, and that's what you have when you're done tearing out all your pages, then great. If you want more than that, if you want less than that, then just go back and tear out a few more pages. It doesn't matter. It's not going to make a difference. So we'll do that one more time. So I did 1, 2, and 3. Tore out 6. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this page to this page. Is that right? Where's my paper clip? Yes. I'm going to glue this page to this page, okay? Because I want to hide any paper that got left in here. And what you want to do, you can or you don't have to. I do because, well, it's me. I take any paper that's down here and any paper that's up here. And then, if there's a lot of paper stuck in here, then, if it's bulky or whatever, I'll go in with my tweezers, which were, well, they're not. Where is my little... I found my scissors, and they're always in with my little scissors. Oh, there they are. So I'll go in with my tweezers, and I'll just take and just pull it out, if you have to. This, I would not bother. It's nothing. That's nothing. You're not going to notice that. So before I glue this page to this page, I take my glue. Now, I'm going to show you the different types of glues I've tried. I've tried 3-in-1 Beacon or Fabri-Tac. Both of them are based with acetone. So it's not really a wet glue. It's acetone. I have tried glue stick. I've tried PVA. I've tried Elmer's. I've tried Art Glitter Glue. All of these glues that I've tried don't do nearly the job that this does. So what I do, and I use two different. I use this glue, and what I do with this glue is I go in here and I just kind of dab it. I don't squeeze a ton in there. I just put enough. Okay? And then if you happen to have a little spatula, it doesn't matter. You don't need it. You can kind of go in there if you want. Now, I also have this wrinkle-free glue stick, but I use that for something else. What I do is I take my Beacon or Fabri-Tac and I run it along this edge. And down here, along this edge. And then I just do this. No, you don't need more than that. Then you take this page and you want to pull it until it meets that page, and then you want to just do this. And you want to make sure that you press your finger in there where the spine is. And you will have no warping, and your pages will stay nice and flat. And they will stay together. You will never know that there were 2 pages there or 6 pages in between. So then we'll do it again. 1, 2, and we'll tear out 6. But what I do is I kind of run my fingers along the spine first. But not so much so that you're digging into the, digging into the spine. This is kind of a new, well, it's not a new book, but it's one that I got at the dollar store. So I kind of go through it and break it. Not break it, but kind of, break the spine open. Like, open it up, like, so that it's been like it's been read. And it makes the pages easier to come out. So, we just turned our 2 pages because this page you might want to cover, or you might want to make it a pocket. This page you need to, after you do your 6 pages, you need to glue together. So that's why you flip 2. Now you're going to cut, now you're going to take out 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, and see already I'm getting a little paper there, so I'm going to pull that out before I get more. 4, 5, 6. Pull out any paper that you have up here so it doesn't, so that it looks nice and tidy when you're done. And any paper that you might have down here. So I've already pulled out that. But you don't want to go too close to the spine because you don't, like I said, you don't want to lose the integrity of your spine. So I'm just cutting any thickness off of each end. So it looks nice and tidy when I'm done. The rest of it won't matter, anything in here won't matter as long as it's not, sticking out that much. So then what I'm going to do, again, is I'm going to take my glue. I'm going to run it down here, not a lot, just enough. And then I'm going to run it along here. And I'm going to run this along here. And then just a little bit. Then I'm going to take this page, the page before it that I turned. I'm going to pull up my spine like this. I'm going to pull it so that it reaches and close the book. Then open it up and find it if you can, and then just press it down. And there you go. So you've got, now, you've got these 2 are glued. You've got that page in case you want to make a pocket, side or top. If you don't, then you could cover it with paper or you can tear it out. It won't matter. You won't see it. So, that's all you do. Now I've got my 6 pages here. So I know that these are the next 6 that I tear out. Right? No, I did that wrong. Sorry. I had another paper clip there. So I glued these 2 together. So 1 and 2. And I'll do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Now see, I'm kind of getting chunky here, so I'm going to tear these out so that we don't keep following that same pattern. That's 3. Whoops, I almost dropped my water. It's all right, I have a straw. It's got a cover. Four, 5, 6. Now, if you can see, it's a little chunky down here, and I don't want that. So I'm going to go in with my scissors. And I'm going to cut that out. Make sure the top is the same, and it is. So I'm just going to, you know, make sure that this is kind of pulled out as well. But definitely your ends. That's where you want your most, you know, where your bulk is or was, because it's not going to be there anymore. So if you take that and just tear it, you know, snip it a little bit and then tear. And then one more time. I know this is boring. It's like watching paint dry, I'm sure. But anyway, you just run this down. Run it across. Run it across. I put a little bit too much glue in that seam. You really don't need that much. But then you're going to take this page. You're going to sit, you know, put your book up like this and put your fingers against these page, you know, the bottom of the book, and close it. And then open it back up and try and find those pages, which will be easy to do if you have your paper clips in. And then just kind of go along here with your thumb, not your nail, but your thumb, or even your bone folder on this end, and kind of just rub it lightly. And then you can do that, or if you happen to have a brayer, even better. And I'm just going to do that with my other pages. Go back to the beginning where I started. And every once in a while, you don't have to do every single time, but every once in a while, go ahead and do this with your book. And that way, already you can tell that some pages have been removed. But you can't. I mean, you can, but you really can't if you do it that way. If you take your time, you won't be able to tell. And you'll have a beautiful book at the end. So, like I said, here's one I started, but haven't done anything with yet because I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. I just love the picture, and I said, I'm going to make one of those books. So, I started. It's fabric. It's covered in fabric. It's all fabric covered. It's actually from some vintage sheets that I had. So I covered it in fabric. And then this is paper, which I still have to coat. And this is journal here. And then I have a little doily here and some bling here. And it's all stitched. Before I glued it on, I stitched it. And then I made that and put that on the side. And I just haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with it. So it's a project I don't know if any of you have a project that you haven't finished yet, but it's a project in the waiting, and someday it's going to strike me and I'm going to say, that's the journal I'm going to use. So anyway, that's that. This is the book I'm going to be working on. And for any of you that would like to know the measurements, it's a 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm not counting this part of the spine. I'm only going to the spine, and it's 5 1/2. So what I did was I got out my, now I was going to use a journal kit. It was a blue journal kit that I was going to use, but then I started thinking about it, and I remembered, you know, go through your notebook with all of your Christmas in it, and I actually have three Christmas notebooks. So I pulled out this one, and I actually had some pages that I had already cut down for another journal that I was going to make last Christmas. So I have those pages cut down. Those are all, you know, colored. These are pages that need to be cut down. Here's some more pages that need to be cut down, and some different things. And then I have envelopes and postcards in here that need to be cut up. Some avocado stained paper, some music paper. And then I have all of this. All of these pages are cut up and ready for a journal. So I'm going to use this because they're already cut up to use for one of these kinds of journals. So get yourself a notebook, get out your Christmas, you know, things. These are just like little postcards and things that I had that I pulled. And I've put everything into my 3-ring binder, which is what I usually do when I start a project. Or I put a project away. I'll put it away in a 3-ring binder like this. And just, you know, it goes right on my shelf. So, and these are just, you can get these anywhere. Dollar Tree, you get, I think, 3 in a package. School's coming up, so you can get, yeah, I think you get 4. I think you get 5 in a package, actually. And then these are just in the, you know, the plastic school paper liners, what have you. Same thing, you know, I have extra pages here. And I'll be putting some more tea stain paper and some more avocado stain paper in here as well to work with. So I'll have everything in here to work with, and my book will be all ready for me to start. And I think I'll start with making the ephemera first, so that will be the next video. I'll make a couple of different ephemeras first. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll join me. Thanks for stopping by. Be well. Be blessed. And stay cool. I heard about Europe. They really need our prayers. It's going to be 104 degrees in London tomorrow. They are not used to that kind of weather. So for all of my European friends, all of my people that G. Kerr, and I'm praying for you as well. Spain, I'm praying for you, all the fires. It's terrible. It's just terrible. So be well, everybody. Be safe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.